we'll see if I can remember some of these for timestamp reasons. I think it will help make some good shorts. How we doing, guys? It's another Saturday show. It's our best show, but we do a lot. We do the spread picks. We get into a lot, so I don't want to take a lot of time. So I'll mention more the like and subscribing on the review show and why you should do it. Please consider it. We did lose some subscribers, but we actually saw more likes than usual. So at least the people that are riding with us are liking our content, so continue to do that. We would rather have people that enjoy the content, that use the process, and enjoy the process. Stay with us and do that. But make sure if you do, and even if you enjoy it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you hear a snippet here and there, like the content. It really does do a lot for us. This is free after all, so that's the least you can do. Donnie, Gov, how we doing?
All right.
Doing okay this week.
It was a bit contentious. It took us a while to pick a spread pick that we agree on. Sometimes we come in and it's like less than 30 seconds, it feels like. Today we are going up and down the board for quite a bit, but we did come up with one. It's the first game on Sunday. It's the game I always wake up for, and Donnie hopes that he doesn't have to wake up for. But it is a game in London. It's a team that's familiar with it, with the Jacksonville Jaguars against the rookie quarterback. I do think the time differences and the difference in the game, the popularity, the different stadiums, the whole experience. Like for us watching on the NFL Network might be an adjustment. You know, for us waking up early might be an adjustment. They are literally going over to another country. You know, our rookies having to do that. Where the Jacksonville Jaguars have kind of been adopted, you know, they've been a front runner to actually be moved if there was ever a team moved internationally. So this just made sense for me. Does anyone else want to mention anything else about the game? I just thought it made sense. We actually get +1 on the number as well, so they don't even have to, you know. I guess they still win.
My thought was this is a pseudo Bears home game. It's one of their 8 home games they get this year.
Right.
But the Jags are the team that left early, have been staying in London, have a place to practice, are going to play another game next week against New England.
I do have a question about that, because do the Bears have only 8 home games? I would assume this is a technical
This
home
is
game.
one of their 8 home games.
Shouldn't it be one of their 9, though?
No, because almost every team gets a home game as that extra 17th game, or gets a road game.
But so they're going to have 8 home games anyway.
They're going to have 8. Basically, every team's been getting 8 home games, and like if you get a 9th home game, you were the worst team in your division last year. Like the only teams I've seen that are getting that are the teams that were 4th in their division. So like I think the Raiders get a 9th home game against one of their non-conference, one of those extra guys.
Which is probably just a revenue booster for the NFL. It's saying, you're one of the worst teams. Your stadium needs a bit more extra money with the concessions and everything else. Like
it's more like a fairness thing in my mind. It's like, okay, you were bad, so let's give you one more home game, since that's how they do the scheduling. The 4 teams play all the other bad teams from last year. That's how you get the easy schedules. That's why that's how the top seeds always tend to have a weaker or a stronger schedule they got to go through, because they're playing the other first place teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know how the schedule's made now. Now that there's that extra game, I don't know what their system is.
I think they try to make it a road game wherever they can. But it's not. It's basically impossible to have everyone have a road game in week 17.
Right.
I was very happy for Trevor Lawrence to have the game he did. Now we get to see, it's almost like the Kyle Pitts experience. You get to see if it's actually had some consistency, because that's always been a problem, it's consistency. But I like the idea of you're putting a rookie in a very circus-like environment where he has to go outside of his routine. And now, so I feel like there's more questions there. And so now you hope that you see the consistency and that kind of homestead mentality that the Jacksonville Jaguars have been trying to give Trevor Lawrence for a while. I don't expect this one to be close. Speaking of fairness, though, why don't we get on to our orders today with the picks, so that way we know where we're picking.
Give me your numbers.
I'll take the old Reggie Bush number. I'm liking Reggie today. Today's college 25.
All right.
47.
I'm going 75. You've got to be kidding me.
It's 47, isn't it?
It's 15.
No.
Why can't I just get the first pick once?
Hey,
On a bad week?
Just like DFS, you don't got to win every week, just like 1 or 2 out of the 17.
Maybe you'll win on the most important week, Danny. You'll need that.
A week I don't like is the week I wanted this to be mine. All right. So, Logan, you're up first.
I could take. I want this one though because I just think it's the one that's going to easily cover. The Eagles are getting healthier. They're way more talented already than the Browns. They're getting healthier. The Browns have had turmoil emotionally on this team the moment Watson was signed. Now that turmoil is getting more toxic because it's almost like Antonio Brown when people realize, oh, he's toxic and he doesn't got talent. Now we got a real problem. And I don't like this number if Watson was playing, Jameis Winston was playing, but I don't think they have the guts to do it. I would be happy if I'm wrong here, but because they don't have the guts, I think they're puppies, not dogs. Give me the Eagles.
All right. I can understand that.
Yeah.
I don't think the Browns are as bad as people think. I think Deshaun Watson is as bad as people think. But I think now, and this is weird. This is one of the reasons why I have no conviction this week. If you talk with all of the touts, if you listen to what everyone from all of the sim sites are saying, from all the projection sites, your DFS Twitter, they're going to tell you that Cleveland's defense is shit this year. Yet they're also going to say in the same breath that everyone still thinks the Cleveland defense is good. But then nothing really showed. It's a really weird thing. They're talking about the Cleveland defense like it's a expensive defense, like it's a high-owned defense, and everyone needs to get their bias off. But then no one's actually saying that outside of the touts. The touts are saying how you should get off this Cleveland defense. It isn't as good.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's not like the layman people that I hear are saying the Cleveland defense is good. They're thinking there's a bias towards people saying the Cleveland defense is still good when no one's saying the Cleveland defense is still good.
They're just not bad. I mean,
That's the thing. If you really look at it, they're still getting pressure. They're still doing well. They're just on the field so much because of how bad their offense is.
Now,
any defense that plays that much is going to look mediocre to mid.
Yeah, I will say the only exception to that rule really is the Jets defense. The Jets defense is kind of like the Broncos in my mind, on the reverse side. The Jets were such a good defense last year. There was no way they play that well this year. But they're still
they were
playing
going to take
well,
a step back. Exactly. But
great.
They're not playing as well.
I argue great defense.
Whereas Denver was so bad last year, mostly skewed because of that Miami game, that you knew they'd play better with guys like Surtain in that. So, and now Denver's defense has done a full bounce back where they're one of the better defenses in the league. I think that's a little much too, but I can see why it would spring back and forth like that.
Logan, you mind taking that picks thing off the screen so we can see Gov?
Oh, that is right. It's a little bit bigger than that.
Anyway, you can move it to the right side.
Yeah, I actually really like how the Browns defense is put together. It just doesn't mesh when you have an offense that is so inconsistent and so bad.
Yeah, and that's really what it is.
Because the difference is
of Cleveland's offense, their
the
defense
run
just
game
looks worse.
Doesn't control the ball for Cleveland.
Exactly.
Right now.
It's the time of possession. That's what it is. The defense looks bad because they're out there for 30, 40 minutes or for 30 plus minutes at a time. They have no time of possession. They're not getting any rest. So
yeah. Now, let's get on to your pick of where you at.
All right, I'll just take the one that we didn't take out the bat. I'm going to take the Jets on Monday night.
That's +2?
+2 or +2.5. I forget where what is it on DK?
I see it at 2 or 2.5 in certain books. So,
right.
like, whatever it is on DK, I'll take. But I'll take the plus points for the Jets. Like, I don't think their defense is as bad as people think. It looks like, from what I've seen, when Buffalo has played a tough defense this year, they were kind of shut down. But when they're playing shitty teams, they're able to blow them out. They're able to put up offense. Like, just because Josh Allen has the ability to put up offense. I don't trust any of Buffalo's weapons, so I know the Jets defense, talent-wise, should be able to shut them down and make Josh Allen beat them. They had a game last year like that where they were able to win with Zach Wilson. The Jets offense should slowly get better, even with the coaching turmoil and change and everything and new play calling. And, like, yes, the Jets could be completely shitty and come out bad. But the way I do my stuff, I'm seeing big money. I'm seeing plus money on the Jets compared to the bets. So I'll take my shot on that one.
All right, yeah. And I'm just going to keep in the same game, same stratosphere. First time this year, I'm going to take the Bills at -2. I'm going to be honest with you. I get it. Teams usually respond well to a head coach being fired. But when you have a defense, I think the defense believed in Saleh. At some point, you can't just blame your head coach because what you hired him to do, he's doing well. And then the people you brought in for your quarterback that you've been bending over backwards to please doesn't show up and do his job. This is on Rodgers' ownership and whatnot. This is not Saleh's fault.
I have to disagree, Donnie.
He's not a good coach. I'm not arguing that he should be a head coach. But
see, that's the thing.
That's the problem.
I think Saleh has been doing bad. Like, the defense looks good, but Saleh's the head coach. His job is not to make the defense look good. His job is to make that team look good. His job is to make that team efficient and able to win games. And forget how good or bad the defense is. Forget how good or bad you like, or how much you like or dislike Rodgers. Saleh's made mistakes game managing in these games. He has been a bad head coach at coaching stuff.
But to be fair,
he deserved to be fired.
He deserved to be fired in the offseason.
He was not fired for anything doing with defense. He was fired because he's a shitty head
He deserved to be fired in the offseason, not on a Wednesday when you decide to switch. He fires his OC, essentially, demotes him, whatever you want to say. Then the owner doesn't tell anyone in the building, calls the guy up and says, hey, you're done. You promote a guy who probably doesn't deserve the job. You had no one in the building that deserved the damn job. This whole organization's a mess.
Well, that's just the Jets. Now, to be fair, I think they kind of did the only right thing they could, and I put right in quotation marks, because it's like, we agree Saleh probably should have been fired in the offseason, and they should have found a new guy to run the stuff. They didn't do that. So when it finally came to head after a couple of bad mistakes managing games, and then a London game where you basically were like, you weren't in the face of Rodgers, but everyone looking at the sideline and the body language and the stuff going on said, you not only have been mismanaging the games, you now are not good with your starting quarterback.
No one's good with Aaron Rodgers.
You have to get rid of that guy. All right.
If you're going to bring in Aaron Rodgers, you have to bring in a head coach that aligns with him. I'm not saying
I don't think there's any head coach that aligns with Aaron Rodgers, though.
See, and I don't think that's true at all. I think Aaron Rodgers is a good quarterback that can get you going. You need a coach that can get that team. Forget about it being – you guys are putting way too much credit in Aaron Rodgers, all right? Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback of a team that has basically had no quarterback for 5 years, all right? They don't care what the quarterback does. They need the coach to not have the team making mistakes, offense and defense. All right? That's not – I'm going to say it right now. Wilson and Rodgers not being on page is a Saleh thing, not a Rodgers thing. I'll go to my grave. I'll go to my grave with that one.
Most star quarterbacks meet up with their receiver in practice all offseason.
Yeah, and Garrett Wilson never met with Aaron Rodgers all offseason.
Exactly.
That was
on Wilson.
I'm not saying it's on Rodgers, but that's why your team's in shambles, because there are guys there.
I don't think this team's so much in shambles. Like, they're actually in the okay spot. Like, I didn't expect them to blow out and be the top team in this division. I was not expecting.
I had them as a losing team this year.
I had the Bills taking more of a step back than they are this year, but that's because Josh Allen is just he's a beast of a quarterback.
Saleh deserved to be fired last year. They waited too long.
But okay, let me get my thought out real quick before you go. Like, I agree, Saleh deserved to be fired last year, and then he kept making the same mistakes coaching this year. So you had to get rid of him. So what was the best thing to do? It's like, one, you kind of need to switch up something on offense because it's not working. So let someone else do play calling. Like, if you didn't fire Saleh, you were still going to take play calling away from Hackett. Because he hasn't been doing anything. Yeah. So, like, that was going to happen. And so, like, but you don't agree. You all agree that, like, you get rid of Saleh, you're not giving Hackett the interim coaching job.
No.
You're not going to give the guy that you're switching over and haven't seen play calling. So the most likely candidate for the interim coaching job would have been either the special teams coach or the defensive coordinator under Saleh, who knows everything Saleh was running in that defense. And that's what they did. They made the D coordinator the head coach. So they're keeping the same sort of flow and system. Like, Rodgers and the OC are going to run the offense, and this new guy is going to run the defense. Just hope that this defensive coach doesn't make a bunch of shitty mental errors coaching, and the Jets will be much better moving forward. Like, if you fix Saleh's stupidity in coaching, the Jets will actually work better moving forward.
The Bills should actually follow suit, but we'll see if they actually do.
Yeah, McDermott's the one who's going to get this whole year. Like, the Bills have no offensive weapons. So, like, as long as they're close and in games, the defense is playing well, McDermott will keep his job until the end of the year. And maybe that is, but that's still playing well. Overachieving and playing well.
That's a testament. I think they're doing a good job right now.
I'm saying that's what kept Saleh's job, though, as long as it did. Everyone just kept giving him the leash because his defense was performing.
And I think McDermott might have the same thing happen, where, like, the defense will look solid all year, so he'll keep his job. But if they're smart, they'll move on in the offseason.
Yeah.
They'll get Josh Allen a weapon, and they'll move on in the offseason.
Yes.
All right, Donnie, what's your second pick?
Bengals -3.5. Excuse me. I just think the Jets. The other New York team, the Giants, are also really, really bad. I don't see much going on there. No Neighbors again this week. I have no confidence in that offense. Daniel Jones is having a bounce back year, I guess. Is that what we're calling it? I still think it's quite clear he's not the guy. He doesn't deserve the contract he got. They're in a rough spot. I just think Cincinnati's going to make some plays here.
Like, I don't disagree with that. I do believe the Giants had one of their best games they're going to have this year, barring Neighbors, and, like, they have no Neighbors, so, like, that caps the ceiling of the team. I think they will be pretty good when Neighbors is available.
I think they'll be okay, but it's, Cincinnati's going to have to play desperately, and I love a desperate team. Cincy still feels like they have a chance.
Well, Cincy always starts out slow. Like, this is about that time of year where Cincy's about to probably break off 4 in a row, and then
their losses aren't bad either, outside of the Patriots loss.
Exactly. Like, they have, like, one gross loss, and they are below 500 to start the year. But but it's still early. Like, again, a 3-game win streak, and they're right there in the mix. A 4-game win streak, and they can be right behind Pittsburgh.
And they've gotten healthier, too. Remember, Higgins did not start on the field.
And Burrow's actually having one of his best years of his career.
Yeah, between Higgins not starting because of injury, Chase missing out on camp because of the contract, like, they were set up to kind of move, and them having basically no run game because no one trusts Zach Moss and Chase Brown. Like, they were basically set up to start slow and move on. And so, like, I see Cincinnati doing that throughout the rest of the year.
All right, let's just move on for the next game, I guess.
All right.
You go.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, let's see. I am going to probably be crazy. Like, I think this is the crazy one. Do I take the crazy pick or the other crazy pick? This is actually very tough to me because, like, one of the picks I have is from a very chalky game that I'm sure we'll have pieces from. And it would be taking what seems like the chalky side of that game. And I don't know if I want to go with that. But then the other one is just whack job out there.
Oh, you just love Drake May in them red jerseys, huh?
No. You know what? Just for that, whack job pick it is. Chargers -3 over Denver.
I actually really like that one.
I like that one. Actually, I was going to recommend that.
That was my next pick if mine went.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that one. Literally, I don't know if I have a stat that really shows me why I should be taking that. But when I look at the money and where it's flowing, and I see that, first
we'll
off,
get to the comments in a little bit when we
first
start
off,
ours.
I'm kind of like, why are the Chargers favored in this game? Like, what happened? Like, I thought the Broncos have been looking better recently.
They're on what, a 3-game win streak, 4-game win streak,
like something like that. Like, the Broncos have been looking better recently.
They've won,
and the Chargers are going to be without. The Chargers are going to be without Gus Edwards.
That might be a blessing. Honestly,
I mean, Dobbins is the better back anyway, but they don't have the power back. So, like, I don't know how much they lean on the run game. This could be the first game this year they actually let Herbert throw like 35 plus times.
Yeah, I'm hearing that Gus is going to be out.
I've already seen him officially ruled out. Yeah,
it looks like our best ball shares of Vidal might actually get some run in the next.
See, that could be it. Maybe they put him in a little bit as like a more of a bruiser because that's what they need. They need that between the tackles, between the 20s kind of runner.
Well, apparently Jim
likes let Dobbins get a break off outside thing. But.
Well, Jim likes him because he can hit the inside run, but then he can explode. That's what he kept calling it. Like, he can hit it and then he explodes, which he doesn't really have. Not even Dobbins has that breakaway speed.
Yeah, I'm not sure why, but like, again, I follow the money. And the money is saying that a lot of stuff, like, there's not really a big money bet on the Chargers, but like, everyone is like betting slightly more money on their Charger bets than anyone betting. Like, the people betting on the Broncos are making small bets that the Broncos are going to win with a +3 or cover.
I think
the people betting on the Chargers are actually making a solid bet on the Chargers.
I think everyone assumed with Jim Harbaugh that they were going to be conservative. No one thought he was going to put the handcuffs like this on Justin Herbert.
Exactly.
So
that's what I'm banking on, that this game will be close and that the Chargers, like, if the Chargers win, I think this is one of those games they win pretty good.
Right. So they're already winning in this really ugly way, like just the bare minimum. If they get that, actual talent game, I think then it really favors the Chargers, and I think that's why you made that bet.
All right,
I agree.
Logan, last pick. Let's get this out of here.
Again, my other game. I'll mention my other game once Logan gets his.
Yeah, I just want to mention BK wanted our thoughts on the Millie. We don't exactly break down the Millie, but I definitely built some stars and scrubs. So we'll get to that in just a few minutes here after we make these picks. I definitely built some stars and scrubs. So if you want some like low-owned plays, some dart throws, just pay attention to what I say. And then when the guys scoff and want to throw up, those are usually those kind of plays. He did drop his whole player pool in this chat, by the way. So this guy is.
Which he might hit it. We might hit on some of these guys.
Yeah, some of those guys are good.
There's some solid names in here.
He obviously likes quickly. He obviously.
I'm playing all of one dude he listed.
He does.
I haven't built any lineups yet, so.
He does like the Houston game for sure, I think. So maybe
I'm legit playing one dude that he lists. Oh no, two. He did write CeeDee Lamb. I didn't say
so I'll get to my.
I'm legit playing one dude out of all of those comments.
Yeah,
it's the Millie. You got to be different. It's not the same.
That's true. You're gonna need a couple. Like if it's a milli entry, I don't play the milli, so I'm not really considering.
It's just a different build. All right, Logan,
I don't really love anything a whole lot this week. Earlier this week, I loved the Falcons because they had the Panthers mispriced, but they've adjusted that. Okay, so we know that the Saints have a backup quarterback, Spencer Rattler, but he's older than Sam Darnold. He's coming in with the idea that they already told him we're not going to bench you no matter what happens. He's one of those older COVID, college guys. So he's like, I think he's 24, 24 and a half. He's not just like this rookie with no experience. And the Saints have a lot of explosion on that team. I'm not a believer in the Bucs. Give me the Saints at 3.5. You telling me that they have to lose by more than a field goal? I don't see it. They could win this game, and then you tell me that they have to get blown out. I don't see that. So plus 3.5 on the Saints.
All right.
See, that's one of those games that's kind of weird. Like, I'm not sure I would take that, but I also I don't know if that game goes how it's expected by the public, which is Tampa Bay should be able to get pressure and Rattler will be rattled, no pun intended. And so, that could be a lower scoring game or one where Tampa just gets a big lead. But I'm not so sure that that's how it goes. New Orleans could come out with a really good game plan. They could be running the ball with Rattler and with Kamara. They could use their tight ends and everything. I'm just not sure. That was a game DFS wise, I think I might condense on the chalk from that game, but I don't know if I really want pieces from that game. If I do, I'll go all in and just stack it straight up like Baker, Godwin, Bucky. If I'm going to play that game and have pieces from it DFS, I'm just going to full stack it. But it's kind of a game in our spreads I was staying away from. I see good metrics on it, but I just am trying to stay away from it.
I just don't think Derek Carr is worth 3.5 points, basically. I don't see that big of a difference, so I already think the Saints are more talented. We'll see, though.
Well, it's funny to me. The Bucs were I feel like even if Carr was in, I'd have the Bucs favored. That's my thought. The Bucs have been playing better. Saints had two really good games against two really bad teams, and since then they've been playing kind of crappily and getting injured at every position: tight end, offensive line, now quarterback. Kamara's still dinged up. New Orleans has just been getting so injured. I can't see how Tampa Bay wouldn't have been favored, even with Carr coming into this game.
Maybe, but I don't give the Bucs much credit for beating that Eagles team that was very, very injured at the time.
I can see that. And then they did lose to Detroit. Or no, did they lose to Detroit or did they beat Detroit?
They beat Detroit.
Okay, that was Detroit. That was that Detroit loss. Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta get my stuff set. Again, this whole week has been kind of weird. I'm trying to remember stuff from the last 3 or 4 weeks, and it's why am I remembering that exactly opposite of what it was when I go and double check? It's got me very confused this week. Very confused.
You got one last pick though, right, Gov?
Nope, that's the picks. We are ready to go build a lineup. So
okay, we're good.
I would say pull up a lineup builder and we'll get a value lineup built in here for everyone. See what our best values are and get a lineup built and then see where we can upgrade.
Here's the question. Do you think DraftKings will be nice or do you think I have to pull it off the screen and punch in my password?
You always have to pull it off the screen because DK and the sportsbook don't link. It's no matter what. That's just their info. If you're on the sportsbook, you should have to re-log in to open up a.
Not yet.
House. We'll see. It might make you when you try to go to the lineup.
Sometimes I get lucky sometimes.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
I think we got lucky today.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. All right. All right. So, you took New Orleans, right? Yeah. Just making sure so I have it written down. New Orleans plus 3.5.
Did we want to do our value pick first or our draft?
I like doing the value one first. It gives us time to talk through everything. So,
okay.
So, like, let's just be real. Like, we're going to play again the chalky value that we know the industry has seen, that we've seen from all these games. So, we're not going to have our bias when we're putting in the chalk. Or when we're putting in the value. Let's just put the value in. Put Rattler in at quarterback.
I was gonna say it's Rattler then, right? It's either Rattler or
if we're going to start with all the value that there is and plug in a lineup with just value, you got to start with Rattler. If you're not doing Rattler, you're doing like Levis or Dalton. Yeah. But I think Rattler is the key.
I don't know what the price is for him. I literally haven't looked at almost at all at this slate.
Minimum salary $4K.
No, I'm talking. I was going to bring up Gibson because Ramondre's out. Someone's going to have to run the ball.
Oh, Gibson.
No. So I was about to say, if you want the two chalky cheap running backs that I have looked at, it would be Antonio Gibson and Buck Irvin.
That's who I had.
I think those would be the next two guys to put in.
Yep, that was going to be my suggestion.
Like, those are going to be the chalk. With Rachaad White basically ruled out and Ramondre ruled out, those are going to be your cheap running backs that everyone's going to gravitate to.
Now, the Panthers tight end is the cheapest viable guy that I see.
I also agree. I think he is the cheapest viable tight end. I don't think there's a min-salary tight end I like. I don't like Hayden Hurst at the same price. And a lot of people seem to like Ferguson, Bowers, McBride, even like taking a shot on one of the Baltimore tight ends. And that has you in the 4K range at tight end, whereas he is essentially minimum salary. So,
and again, what we're doing here is we're taking all the value and then we're going to reconstruct it at the end. So if you guys
I would also plug in the Bucks. I know it doesn't correlate, and we're definitely going to change it, but plug in the Bucks defense against 2,600.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't correlate with Rattler, but it does correlate with Bucky, although it kind of correlates with Rattler, because if Rattler's throwing picks, then, or even a pick six or something, he's going to get the ball right back. He's going to have more pass attempts. So it's like, but that's probably the chalky, cheap defense.
I actually heard a good discussion about this Rattler. They were asking their panel of experts how much he had to have, what's the lowest amount he could have that you would be disappointed with. So I played along and I set 8. If he had 8 points, I'd be happy. Anything under 8, I'd be disappointed.
See, and I have to look at it from like a salary equivalent. So like, he's 4K.
Yes.
If I were to up the price to, let's say, 6,500, which is where a lot of the quarterbacks that you're going to play are in, 67 or 7K for Dak or something like that. So like,
I see that. That's your mid.
I'm gonna do the correlation. It's like, okay, so like, let's use your number. 8 points for Rattler at 4K would be the same as that 6,500 quarterback getting me 15. And I think all of those 6,500 quarterbacks will get you more than 15, or at least 15. Right. So like, in my mind, Rattler has to get me 15, or else I'm going to be able to play one of those quarterbacks that gets me 20 plus. And it's just going to be, and it'll actually be a better value at that point.
One guy definitely did say that, Gov. He basically said, like, I'm shooting for the upset, right? And the one guy was like, that's fine, too, because if he gets you 15, then no one else on the slate can beat him for his price.
Right. If Rattler gets you 15 at 4K, like, if you got 15 from any 4K or lower player, regardless of quarterback, you'd say you smashed. You play a 3,800 wide receiver, you get 15 points, moon, let's go.
So then I have another question.
That's what you're going to think.
Then I have another question, though, because I think this is important. This is actually relevant to Donnie. How long ago has it been that we've actually seen a viable 4K quarterback? I want to say before Donnie started playing DFS.
It was definitely before I started playing.
I was about to say, I haven't seen that viable 4K guy in a long time. Like, we've had Ian, like, same team was the Saints when it was Ian Book a couple years ago. It just doesn't seem to work out. Like, there's a reason he's a 4K quarterback. You never expected him to play, and he didn't. And he just hasn't shown much.
Yeah, fair.
I think he had okay preseason stats this year, but then there's the whole, like, in college between the two different teams he played for, Oklahoma and South Carolina, he ran mostly shotgun. And this is an under the center Kubiak offense.
That
he's
is
going to have to run bootlegs and handoffs all the time.
That is very true. I will say he is a gunslinger, so he's not like Ian Book was more of a like Alex Smith at his best, kind of like over the middle precision passing. The Spencer Rattler guy is more of a what I would consider kind of a Jameis Winston type.
I don't know about you guys, but I actually have 3 wide receivers of value to put.
I think it's Polk. Who do you have?
Polk is one of them.
Okay.
The second one I have.
You got one, Donnie?
Probably AD Mitchell.
I do have one.
Who's yours? Because Mitchell was on my list.
I think you guys are going to think it's gross. But Ray McLeod at 43, 7 targets 2 weeks ago, 9 targets last week. He's had 3 games with 7 targets.
I think Ray is pretty good. I think AD Mitchell and Ray are probably the 2 guys to go. Like Tennessee's
Mingo isn't bad either.
And I don't like Mingo.
I know. 5 targets each, each week basically.
Yeah, he just sort of has a consistent workload. He hasn't he had 1 spike week in targets, and then since then they've been spreading it around to other guys. Like I think it's a Sanders week or a Deontay week more than anything else. I think we saw Leggette's breakout game. I think we saw them try to give Mingo more targets one game.
He's hit his ceiling this season's 5. He's had 5 3 times.
And then again, if I just now we have someone we could legitimately just play CeeDee Lamb as our flex and still have all the value in the world.
Yeah, but this is just an idea though.
Go to flex. Let's say right now the 2 highest total games I have are Washington, Baltimore, and Detroit, Dallas. So let's take the high price guy. We have enough money we can fit the high price guys from either of those games in and still have our value lineup that makes sense and has ceiling. So which one would you rather have, CD or Derrick Henry? Straight up. There's a discussion to have. There's going to be value where you can fit multiple of those guys on this slate. But 1-to-1, who would you rather have, CD or Henry?
CD.
So I'm breaking this tie, put in Henry.
Okay, that works.
Not that I hate CD, but I do think this is a Henry week. But I'm also very wary because, as I told you, I don't think stuff is right this week. Henry's projecting low owned. Why would the top touchdown scorer on his team and in the league in the one of the 2 highest total games of the week not be owned?
I will say if Robinson was to sit, maybe you would think of Eckler as a cheap guy or Tony Pollard even at 6K.
Why did you take out Bucky?
Because the PMR thing is bothering me.
If Robinson
makes sense. No, that's fine. That's perfect.
Then Eckler does turn into a very solid play.
Yeah, 10K left on the table. Yeah, we can upgrade plenty of stuff.
Okay. So. Now, I know Logan's going to hate it, but I really just don't love the world where we play Spencer Rattler. I'm going to be honest.
No, I agree. If I'm changing thing about this lineup, it's Rattler. The second thing I change would be my pick of AD Mitchell.
Trust me, I think I'm going to have to carry this whole operation this week and basically make all the money. But don't worry, all my personal lineups will have either Drake May or Spencer Rattler, so you guys can thank me later.
I'm fine with moving up to May. Rattler's just too much of a risk for me.
Again, this is the charity lineup, so let's just have some fun here. I'll make all the money later.
I mean, we've got a game stack going. Why don't we just put in Dalton?
Fair.
We could still stay cheap and not go to Dak or Jaden Daniels or Lamar.
That's 100% fair. I argue we still have a stack partner with Gibson and May if you want.
See, that's the other thing. After we get off the quarterback,
and
we need to get off of one of those New England.
One of the 2 Patriots, yes. For me, it would be Gibson. But
agreed. I would rather play Polk than Gibson just because the price. and the chalk. Like Polk's not pulling any ownership, and he's cheap to the point where, like, he's 3,600. If he has that same 12 to 15 points we're expecting from Rattler, I'd rather have Polk. Whereas Gibson is probably going to be chalky, and he needs to be like one of the top 3 running backs.
I personally would rather go up to Cousins over Dalton, but we can go Dalton.
See, I don't like chasing Cousins this week. Like, he's been shown to only throw like 30 passes a game, and then he has this game where he throws 50 plus.
I'm literally looking at quarterback pricing because I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, I think we do move up to Dalton here, where it's only a 1,200 difference.
Yeah. We're still going to have so much money. Like, we're going to be able to go Dalton and then probably turn
at least one guy into a superstar.
Yeah. Now, like, if you wanted me to say, I would say go to Dalton. Then
I don't mind Dalton.
Then switch Gibson
for a running back that's up
No, I would switch Gibson, put Bucky back in the running back, and then that's where we're going to play like Deontay. So we double.
I want to get off Sanders as well. If we're going to play Deontay. If we're going to play Deontay.
See, I like Sanders. I think this is his week, and I know Deontay just gets all of the volume. So, like, if Dalton has a good day.
What is this injury?
Whose injury?
Probably a groin.
Oh, no, he's just got the same, like, ankle tweak. Like,
okay.
He's been practicing. Everything's been fine. He's not, like, there's no risk of him not playing. This is veteran, has a Q tag on week 6.
What's crazy is his lowest week for targets has been 6. He still puts up points, and if for some reason people don't want to play him. And at PPR, like, this could be a shootout game. We've seen Atlanta just have wild, fun games with people. Like,
if we're going to make the bet on Dalton having one of his better games, it's shown that Deontay comes along with that.
Yeah.
Now, he's had games where he's had Deontay and Leggett come along with it. So I don't mind the double with a cheap guy like Sanders.
Who's you have to move Irvin back in there.
Yeah, now you got to put Bucky at running back.
I don't like playing Henry, though, because we can obviously do different things. But that's just me.
Can I give you guys a crazy thing that, like, it's going to be expensive, crazy change, but I think it makes sense? Can we just find a way to change this? Instead of playing Polk and Mitchell, what if we just tried to fit in the Lamb-Monra combo and see what happens?
We can play it, but why are we getting rid of Polk and Mitchell to do it?
I mean, we could definitely do one of those, but like 82, 81, so that's 16-3.
We'd have to get off Henry. But if Logan wants to get off Henry.
Actually, yeah, because we wouldn't have quite enough.
Right, we wouldn't have
we'd
quite
be short
enough.
But we'd be short by another, like a little less than 1,000.
Are we really going to play?
If we wanted to do Lamb and Brown, we wouldn't be able to play Henry.
Are we going to play McLeod though? That this much of one game?
Well, we need a bring back if we're having a double stack with Dalton.
That's why we have Ray.
Right, but
I really don't like. You guys are really going to have to hope I make some money this week. Oh, God, I do not like this at all.
I don't like this lineup that much either.
Well, I mean, we still have $8,000 to switch. Of course we're not going to like this lineup. It's just a bunch of value with Henry, and it's a value stack with a bunch of value stuff with Henry.
I don't like the double stack.
We need to get some more raw points in here.
Double down Dalton is crazy in week 6 of 2024.
Isn't a bit of bring back, though, to get...
I mean, he's in a good game environment with Atlanta. That's a pretty good total. And Atlanta's defense has not been good this year. They don't get pressure, so Dalton's going to have time to get the ball to his guys.
I don't mind the Carolina part of it. I really don't. But instead of playing Henry, I would recommend we played Robinson.
I don't like Bijan.
Robinson gets touchdown stolen all the time.
No, it's not even that he gets touchdown stolen. Like, you can't have touchdown stolen when they're never given to you.
That's true. Like, it's not even. You're right. They're not stolen because he's
just not their touchdown guy.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know how they use Bijan, but it's not effectively.
Yeah,
that's like, not. So, that's not wrong.
And he's supposed to be the chalk running back for the week. So, like, that right there. Like, I don't want to just jam in the chalk guy. Although I also think chalk this week is going to be completely flipped. Like
Double J.
It's showing like Cade Otton as like one of the chalky tight ends. That's no one. He's going to be projected 20+% and show up at 1%, and everyone's going to be like, "What?" When that makes perfect sense that Cade Otton is not played by anyone.
Oh,
that's the guy I was thinking. Yeah.
But when was that, Double J? I'm trying. That's why
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when it was last year. It's like we haven't seen a 4K quarterback actually pay off.
Was it last year? That's what I'm trying to find out. Like,
no, yeah, it was last year because the year before that was the Ian Book.
Yeah, fair enough. So I guess we do see it about once a year.
Yeah, maybe once a year when something weird happens, you see it. But like that's why it's like so. Like I don't hate this. Like I need some ceiling plays, and like personally, if we're not stacking Baltimore, then the points for that game are going to go through Henry, and that is one of the higher total games that I expect points from.
I get that, but I actually think if we're going to play that Baltimore-Washington game, I want like a Terry McLaurin.
See, and I don't like any part of the Washington side outside of like Eckler as a different pivot off these cheap running backs.
Okay,
like, with Robinson out, Eckler gets passing game work. He's been very solid all year. And if you think Washington's going to be down, then why wouldn't he just get a bunch of checkdowns?
Can I interest you?
Like, I'm not saying we play that. I'm saying I'd rather play Eckler if I'm playing a Washington guy.
Can I interest you in going up to either London or Pitts as one of these Atlanta bringing backs?
You could, like, I could see trading out McLeod for a London or London or Mooney, not Pitts.
Okay.
But it's such a big price difference. I know Mooney had 16 targets last week. That is just...
Again,
ridiculous.
That's because Cousins threw 50 times. I don't expect that to happen.
Yeah, no, now, but McLeod's targets are consistent. Like, he's consistently getting...
Agreed. Like, I personally like McLeod more, but if you really wanted to get up to a different guy, okay, I could see doing
he is getting the targets. So I guess more so I don't believe in the targets here, but if you guys had a strong conviction, I ride with you guys. So truly, if you
I thought would be like right now, I'm still looking at like I want to take one of Mitchell or Polk and make that like either CD or Amon-Ra or some expensive high raw point ceiling guy.
Let's take out Mitchell because I do think Polk's been seeing more work, and then isn't May.
I heard Polk has a good rapport with Drake May too.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's what I've heard. I need to see it on the field, not on a.
Even if I didn't have that, Polk has been involved and getting more involved and has red zone and end zone targets. So, like, even if they were still with Brissett, I would probably still have Polk on my radar as a cheap option. But with May, I'm more willing to say, let's see if they got a connection.
If that random heel rule wasn't a thing, right now Polk would be 4,600.
I'm just going to put in St. Brown now because he's a little cheaper, and that will give us an idea what we got.
So that's why we play Polk, because if it wasn't for last week, his heel stepping out of bounds, he'd probably be 4,600.
That's what
now,
I mean.
If you wanted to get off the double here, and you have St. Brown, could we turn Sanders into Ferguson? Give us our Detroit-Dallas mini stack.
I do like that.
Like now you get off the Dalton double. That should help Donnie. We get a mini stack of one of the highest total games.
Now I like this lineup a lot. Maybe this lineup can win. Maybe it can.
Oh, fuck. Now we got to change it all up. God damn it, Logan.
That last one made me about ill.
To be fair, we still have money to play with. Like, we can still make another pivot somewhere if we wanted. Like, if you really wanted to, you could switch Dalton to Cousins. If you really wanted to, you could still probably get Ray up to, like, Mooney. Like, there's still places to go here that you could switch. Like, St. Brown could still just be CeeDee Lamb and then get to a different tight end.
I don't want to change the defense, though, because if you guys are so strongly against Spencer Rattler, which I understand, I disagree with that from a player perspective this week.
I'm loving this Bucky Irving Tampa defense mini stack. I'm sure it's going to be very like, Bucky's going to be chalk, and with the pricing of Bucks defense, I'm sure it's going to be kind of chalky. I'm willing to eat that chalk in my lineup and get different somewhere else.
The chalk's going to fight itself because Spencer Rattler is going to be chalky.
That's the thing. Like, I think everyone thinks Rattler is going to be super chalky,
And yet everyone's talking about playing Daniels,
Everyone's going to
Lamar,
come to
and
our
Dak.
conclusion.
No, I don't know about that, but like I do think the industry is off because like everything I hear around is everyone wants to play Dak, everyone wants to play Lamar or Jaden Daniels, and everyone's trying to decide whether or not they'll play the 4K quarterback. And yet all of those options are not really showing up as the chalk, which is very weird. Like when the chalk for the week, when I'm wanting to play those two high-priced games, and the chalk for the week is Rattler and Cade Otton at tight end, nothing makes sense, and I don't even know how to build. Like my style of building is trying to find leverage. I don't believe in any of these ownership projections. I don't know where to find my like the only true leverage spot I'm seeing would be playing golf.
Now, I do have to hold.
That's not a bad idea.
Like if you wanted to take the 17 and then turn Dalton into golf.
I kind of like that, Gov. I haven't heard any golf this week.
Turn Dalton into Jared Goff.
I didn't know it was possible. I'm not doing a bid here. I did not look at quarterback pricing once I found the two guys.
See, now I'm fine with this lineup straight up. Like I could leave the 500 on the table. We've got some chalk. We have a lot of high ceiling. We have a great leverage stack.
If we hear that Robinson's out, can we move up from Irving to what's his name? To Eckler?
No,
I would
because it would be Eckler. I think Eckler's $200 more. No, like I wouldn't want to do that.
We had 5 on the table. I thought.
No, we did. I'm not saying we couldn't. I'm saying I would not do that.
I'm
only playing Eckler in Washington, Baltimore game stacks.
Yes,
like Eckler has a very solid 11-point floor, but I think Bucky beats that 11 points unless Eckler like falls into the end zone a bunch. And that's going to be in a high-scoring game. So, like, when I stack Lamar and Daniels, I will play Eckler as a good low-owned pivot off of these other cheap running backs. Like, I would definitely want to play Eckler over Gibson or Bucky in a game stack. But I don't think I like Eckler straight-up 1v1 pivot.
Now, Gov, I have to push back because you are a Panthers fan. You told us if Chuba Hubbard did it again.
If you and I've been so wrong. So like I'll say that right now, since we're off Dalton, if you want to switch Deontay to Chuba, I'm fine with that.
That's what I'm asking the group. Do you think that's a better move?
Like our center, we're going to be on our third string center, and we're going to be at our right tackle. But those were also garbage offensive linemen that we had. It was the $100 million we spent on our offensive line. It was in our guards. So I still think we'll have good push up the middle. Chuba will still be able to find a hole here or there.
He's getting all the work too because he's getting 4 or 3.
Yeah, he's getting passing. Like he's game script proof. He's getting passing work. I just had not seen it from him. Like legitimately, he had 2 of his top 4 career games in the last couple weeks.
Yeah,
and I did not want to chase that.
So Donnie, what do you think here? We have the money. Johnson or Chuba, it does not matter to me.
I'd go.
Again, we're not just stacking Dalton anymore.
I'd go Chuba. I'll go the safety of it.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. That actually probably gives us a little more money to deal with. No, it's 300.
Yeah, it's actually a little less. I like this lineup the way it is.
Yeah, no, that looks perfect to me, actually. Like, we got a good stack, a good mini stack.
I do think Austin Eckler is interesting.
We get high ceiling plays from some of these high total games. This looks really good in my mind.
Yeah, I like this now.
Don't dupe us. Double J, stay away from this lineup.
Well, BK said last week he was going to dupe us, but seriously, it doesn't do us very well in the DK streets. This really is for entertainment and a way to tame interest. We are just trying to give you a game theory and an idea of a platform here. We're not trying to tell you who to play and who not to play.
No, like that's the whole point. Like we put in, I didn't like hardly, other than Bucky, I hated everything we had in that value lineup.
And I hated most of this until it came.
I hated A.D. Mitchell. I wasn't a big fan of Paul. Like other than Bucky, I hated every part of our value lineup. We just made a lineup that I really like.
I really like it too, which is weird because I didn't think I would.
Just out of curiosity, have we heard anything from these Colts receivers? Is Pittman more questionable than
Pittman's
not? No. Pittman practiced today.
Again,
Or
Pittman
Friday.
was looking like Tuesday they thought they were going to put Pittman on IR, and now he's practicing and probably going to play. And we still don't know between AR and Flacco.
Downs returned to practice fully on Friday after not practicing all week.
Right. So now AD Mitchell's like, I don't know Indy. I have no idea. Again, this is one of the reasons why I can't really get a read on this.
I've heard some weird things like they thought Downs had a broken toe or something, and they built some kind of special splint so he could practice. I've heard all kinds of weird conspiracy theories.
I don't want it. I just don't want any Indy. It's too much. I'm not trying to decipher. Good for you guys.
So,
figure it out.
All right.
Happy's okay.
Why don't we go to a draft lineup here?
Let's draft our show lineup. Yep. Okay, so it's gonna go Donnie. You get the first pick.
I do get the first pick.
No quarterbacks in the first round, just so people are aware.
For anyone who's not seen,
I'm gonna go with I think
snake style.
I think it's just the clear, obvious pick. It's got to be Derrick Henry, right? I mean, he's killing it.
He is killing
in a high-scoring game.
If you're gonna stack Baltimore with Lamar, I do think Henry is the way to go.
I did have
Gov. I think you have to full fade that game, and I don't like the idea of that.
Gov, I made you eat some crow earlier in the show. We were 100% right on Henry. I think we have him in like 3 of our 4 serious best balls. We were all over Henry this year. And
I was all over him in a lot of my best balls too. Whenever I could, it was either
sometimes things are just so obvious that you have to do it.
That's the thing. I was taking him or Kyron in the second round in almost every best ball draft, going over the Gibbses, not grabbing the Marvin Harrison Jr.'s, not grabbing the Chris Olave, not like all the other guys going in the second round. Nope, I took Henry or Kyron every single time.
Me too.
And it wasn't to say those players were bad. It's to say Henry's value.
It's not like Marvin Harrison Jr. is not playing really well. I just wanted the consistency and high ceiling from those running backs.
Right.
I think we're being undervalued. In my mind, those should have been end of the first round pick running backs.
Yeah.
Like where Saquon was going. Like I think Henry and Kyron should have been going right where Saquon was going, and they were going like 5-10 picks later.
Right. I think him and Saquon were a lot closer in the ratings than people like to admit.
All right, so my pick now.
Yes.
Jalen Tolbert.
I like Tolbert this week at only 5.
He's the clear new number 2 for Dallas. His route tree looks like they move him around so he could play the slot. The slot is a very good spot to attack Detroit. Usually that would be CeeDee Lamb. And I don't think, CeeDee Lamb's still going to play a lot of slot snaps. But it's not like Tolbert doesn't get snaps out of the slot.
Gov, did you realize, speaking of snaps out of the slot, he actually out-targeted CeeDee Lamb last week?
That's one of the reasons I like Tolbert. He was the guy who was doing work with Dak in the offseason, just like Brandon Cooks was last year. Or CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks were last year. He was the one who started doing the offseason work. So I think him and Dak have a solid rapport. So I think that's a good place to start. He's a mid-price value, like $5K. Like Brandon Cooks would be $6K right now if he were doing all that. Tolbert will probably be $6K before. Like if he has a decent game this week, he'll be $6K next week. He'll be Amari Cooper next week. He'll have that kind of pricing. Or at worst, like Calvin, like high 57, 58. Like he's due to go up. Even if he just has a mid game, his ownership will probably pull him up a few hundred going into next week. All right, Logan, you get 2 picks in a row.
All right. You know what I'm going to do, don't you? Let's get our stack.
Okay, so first thing you do is plug in chalk. And the second thing you do is suck on balls.
Yep, he just killed our lineup, everyone.
Great job, Logan. Great job. You just won all of the no money. You just made $0 Great job.
I told you that I only
There's going to be so many zeros in the amount of money you made this week because of this lineup.
Hey, as long as the first number starts with a 1, it's fine, right, Logan?
People love drama.
As long as there is a number other than 0, it's fine, honestly.
No, seriously, people love drama. There was a sports betting podcast that came out, and he was like, "Hey, look, we could give you great betting advice."
My heart! I think I need to. Oh God! Oh.
He said, we can give you great betting advice. We can give you some DFS advice. People like betting drama. People like it when we're at odds. So it works out.
Not financial advice, people. Not financial
You
advice.
can tell we're having fun here. Can't you tell that?
Yeah, that's what the draft lineup is supposed to be.
Yeah.
We're going to have a fun way and build, hopefully, a not horrible lineup.
This is
Hopefully. And we're hoping real hard here.
I did this
real hard here.
I did this on purpose.
There is a world where he throws 3 touchdowns, to be fair.
No, seriously, I did this on purpose because neither one of you would do it. And now it forces you to either spend the money or leave a stupid amount of money on the table.
The only way I can think this works now is we need, like, stars and scrubs. So I guess I'm going to force you guys to put in the stars you like. We're going to pick a tight end here.
I thought so.
And we're going to pick a New Orleans tight end. I'm just going to stack fucking Rattler at this point. Like, if you're going to make us play Rattler in a game environment where he has points, I'm going to, like, either he dumps it off to Kamara a bunch, or he probably hits a tight end in the red zone. So I'm going to go with Juwan Johnson because Moreau scored last week.
By the way, Hill is out. Some people thought they were going to get cute and play Hill.
If Taysom were in, he would be taking snaps from Rattler. Guaranteed.
Well,
they would run every Taysom Hill package they have in that game so that he has like 25 snaps.
That's honestly
rushing, receiving, whatever. But like if Taysom were available, he would be used to a good clip that would lower Rattler's ceiling. But with him out, I'll take Rattler and one of the tight ends. So give me Juwan Johnson. It could be Foster Moreau, but like I'll take Juwan.
I actually have news if you guys want it. They did speak to Rattler. They asked him what his main plan was. He joked. He said, "My main plan is to get the ball to Chris Olave."
I got to think this one through because I
know that's what
these are your last 2 picks, Donnie.
Yeah, I got to hit home runs here. That's what we know about this lineup. I need a home run.
That's what I left the money for you guys to do.
I can hit home runs. Don't worry. I'm comfortable in this lane.
We've got a lot of money and 2 wide receiver slots and a flex. So.
Yeah, screw your wide receiver spot because I'm taking our flex. We need to bring back. Give me Jameer. Got to get Gibbs in there.
Ooh. See, I'm more on Monty this week personally.
Give me the best athlete on the field.
Like if they were using Gibbs 100%, he's one of those game script proof guys.
Yeah.
But his passing work only really comes into play when they're down. Now, if Dallas is putting up points, I could definitely see that. So
give me the best athlete on this field today.
He'll be low. Like I think from that game, Gibbs will be one of the low-owned pieces,
and that's why it needs to happen.
I have a Gibbs lineup very similar to this. His receiving work hasn't been very down the field or like actually as a receiver.
Well, I mean, like if you look at it, these last 2 games, they haven't needed to throw. They've been up. They were up on Arizona. They were up on Seattle. But in the first 2 games, like against Tampa, where it was close and they lost, and in week 1 against the Rams, like they were being pushed. So Gibbs needed to get those targets. So like if you think Dallas is pushing this game, I love playing Gibbs.
Whoa, what are we doing, Logan?
What do you mean, what are we doing? I'm checking out how salary.
I got another pick.
Well, don't worry about salary. It's not your pick yet. Let Donnie get a second.
I got to figure out where I want to go. Because like I said, I feel like we still need some home runs.
We have plenty of value because there's 2,600 or lower defenses.
You know what?
We literally still have like 15K for 2 players.
I think you guys aren't going to like it. But it's a sneaky play.
Do it! Kill me now! What the fuck? Now we can't spend all the money. What the hell?
Yeah.
You literally needed to pick like a 6K, 7K guy.
He's a 6K guy.
Oh, wow. He's way overpriced than what I thought. I thought he was 5,700. Holy shit. Wow. I'm definitely not playing. I'm
not playing him really out of personals, but the Patriots are big on taking out that number 1 receiver. Someone's got to get the yards. Someone has to make the plays. They're going to need to move the ball down the field and score 17 points somehow to beat the Patriots. Tank Dell, I think this is his
Will
week.
they, though?
Yeah, they're going to need to score 17 to beat the Patriots. Patriots will score 10.
Will they?
You do it. You
With
do whatever.
May and no Ramondre? Are you sure?
Don't make me feel this way. Don't do this to me.
I'm a Panthers fan. You will feel how I want you to. The only person I can't make feel bad here is Logan because the Lions are actually good. And I want to play Lions.
You had many years to do that.
Oh. Yeah, we missed our time to rag on Logan for the Lions being shit.
Yeah. The one time in our lives.
I guess I was hoping it was going to be me. Apparently it's you two guys that flip. New England is like all of a sudden shit, and the Lions all of a sudden are good.
I will say last week Tank Dell got a lot of work, and he is, to Donnie's point on Gibbs, he is their most explosive player. Like, he is kind of the Tyreek Hill of this offense in terms of versatility and movability. And so, like, if they can get on the same page, this is the big play guy.
All right, so that means my last pick now, and then Logan's.
Your last pick.
You can do whatever you want.
Let's see. Well, last week I gave it to you guys, and I picked the defense and let you guys do that. So screw that this week. Our final wide receiver is going to be. Fuck, who is it going to be?
You could go as high as CD, basically. So
I can literally do anything.
Yeah.
Like, I already know that. I can literally do anything, and you still have money for a defense.
I know the number one defense by one anyway.
I don't want to do CD and Tolbert without having a Dak stack.
We could always move up afterwards.
Now, here's a game environment that I like. Haven't been seeing a lot of, but we'll see. Marvin Harrison Jr., I think, is going to go really low-owned this week. Unlike a couple weeks ago where Rashi was getting all the ownership and everyone said, oh, let's play low-owned Nico and our Marvin Harrison. And then Marvin Harrison and Nico are the two highest-owned wide receivers on the slate. Like, I don't think that's going to happen this week. I think this Green Bay-Arizona game is getting overlooked, probably due to the weather.
It is.
But if it is a higher scoring game and they do push each other, Marvin Harrison's going to benefit from that. So let's just take him. And now you have all the money to pick whatever defense you want, Logan. And we'll see what we want to do from there.
The best defense on the board this week, the Steelers.
I have no, I was about to say, I'm cool with that. I have no argument. Vegas sucks. They're already in rebuild mode. They're already in barn, like they're already in wholesale. They're already in rebuild. Pittsburgh defense is legitimately good.
We don't even need that much from Spencer Rattler. Look how good this lineup is. You guys like every
I still want to puke looking at this lineup. Trust me. Like, it's not like I don't want to vomit looking at this lineup.
You like everything about this lineup besides Spencer Rattler.
Basically, if I could switch Rattler and Johnson, like go down to the Tampa Bay defense from the Steelers, and then switch Rattler and Johnson into whatever the fuck I can fit, whether that's Dalton Sanders, whether that's whatever, I would do that.
Okay, I have an adjustment I want to make since we finished out with this much salary.
It's only $400, but sure.
Yeah,
what were you thinking?
I'd just move up from Dell to the higher total game with McLaurin.
Okay, like
we don't have a Washington guy, right?
I like and I like McLaurin more than Dell, but I
feel like this makes sense.
It does. It makes sense. I don't have a conviction on any of the Washington pass catchers outside of playing Eckler in a Washington stack.
By chance,
I can see it.
By chance, Donnie, did you see the catch that Terry McLaurin made that wasn't ruled a touchdown because he lost control of it at the last second? If anyone hasn't seen that almost catch, that was really impressive. He basically caught it at the top of his helmet, brought it down, tried to hold onto it all the way through the face mask, and almost had it while still keeping his feet in bounds.
I'm not saying he's not talented. It's hard for me to trust the Washington offense and where the touchdowns and stuff's going to go. But at least McLaurin has like a role in that offense. And if it is a game that pushes, like the total says it could, like the stats say it could push. It could be two quarterbacks that could actually move their offense. And Daniels has been highly efficient this year. So
I do think Juwan Johnson's going to go underappreciated this week. He is, even if you didn't want to do the Spencer Rattler thing, he is only 3,100.
I will say my one very, very ugly Spencer Rattler lineup has Juwan Johnson.
I mean, like, he's been hurt, but when he plays very well. It's kind of the A.D. Mitchell from the Colts. It's like, we don't know if he's good or not, but we know when he's on the field, he gets targeted. And that's just the truth.
And, like, it's kind of a great little stack to do that just because, like, we know Rattler's going to be chalky, but I don't believe anyone's going to pair him with Johnson. They are going to go Olave. They are going to go Kamara. Like, or they're going to play naked Rattler with, like, a Tampa Bay stuff on the other side.
Here's another thought. How many people are going to play Rattler and then be like, well, I want a St. Brown CD Lamb stack? We went
probably everyone that plays Rattler.
Besides us, because
you're either going to have St. Brown, CD Lamb, Derrick Henry, AJ Brown. They're going to have one of those expensive guys in their lineup, or two. They're probably going to have 2 or 3 if they're playing Rattler.
Right, and we played that
game. Like, Rattler immediately makes you play stars and scrubs.
Yes, but we played all those games with different outcomes because we played St. Brown and Tolbert. You know, we played Henry and Terry McLaurin. So I like what we did there, even though it was gross for you guys. Speaking of being gross, though, we have to get out of here. We do have a bit of a hard out today. Hopefully, we were able to help you.
We still have a little bit of time, but we are at the end of the show.
I have one thing I kind of want to bring up if we want to talk about it.
Sure, yeah, we can spitball. I also want to talk about
I don't want anyone to give up their lineups or maybe one guy you really like because only the money goes to first place. But that DK contest, that's for the Discord server where it's the 3 players and you're basically guessing what total has the most touchdowns. There's no salary.
Oh, the single stat contest.
Yes.
Yeah. I was about to say, which one? Were you talking about the single stat or were you talking about the Discord contest?
The single stat contest, yeah.
Okay.
Why do you think the DraftKings community started doing those, guys?
I have no idea.
They started focusing on their Discord more, and they realized, like, people who play DFS are usually like, you start looking at the industry and realize every site that is focused on DFS has a Discord. Some of the main content providers on YouTube have a Discord.
So, like I said, I don't want everyone to give up their lineups or what they're playing. But if you guys are comfortable giving up just a play, everyone just gives up one of our plays.
If we each want to pick a guy to pick in, sure, that's fine.
But I mean, like I said, first place is the only one that gets money. All the 2,500 goes to first place. So obviously we don't want to give up everything.
Yeah, this is single stat. So like expect a dupe. Yes, first place is going to win. First place is probably going to be duped.
But no, that's what I meant, Gov. Like
200 wins.
Why do you think this format got popular? Because FanDuel did it a couple weeks before DraftKings did. I don't like. I'll play it.
I don't know if it's popular at all. It's just what they're pushing.
Yeah, it's
again. Like, I don't think there's a lot of like. The only people in it are the 4,000 people in the Discord. So you see how many. Like, it's a great way to know how many people are really interested in it because like you give out all these tickets and then you'll be able to see how many dead lineups you have with people who didn't even fill it out.
Yeah. So
like, but this is just something they've been trying to push this year. They did it in NBA. They did it in MLB. Like this is just a new format they're trying to push.
They did do the MLB one, and that was the first place. One guy got it, all the money.
Yeah, but MLB also has that high variance. So like,
yes,
you were doing that off of like home runs or runs or whatever it was. Yeah, like if you can guess the 3 guys who have the 2 home run days,
they were off RBIs. Yeah, they went off RBIs.
RBIs, yeah. So it's like. This is off a touchdown. So again, this is a high variance thing, but it's also
you can get
one where there's not a lot.
So
like, there will be a lot of guys here, probably with 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
Like you can literally pick any 3 guys you want. And there will be a lot of guys with like 1 touchdown. The key to this is going to be if you think there's a dude who gets multiple touchdowns,
if you can get 3 guys with 2, you're probably winning.
Gov, that's kind of my strategy too. What I do is I take 2 consistency guys, and then I'll take what I consider like a scroll down guy. Where it's
that's
like,
sort of what I did when I filled out mine. Like I started with Henry just because he's scoring so many touchdowns.
I also started with Henry. Henry was my one guy.
Like everyone's going to start with Henry probably here, and I think that's the smart way to go. The game environment, his touchdown upside and usage, like I think that's just the smart way to go.
I would go.
It's also the main. If you don't play Henry, then you have a shot of being alone at the top.
I would go Bucky because how many people are going to make this late into the week? They might not have known that White is out, and Bucky has a touchdown upside.
I feel like you need someone like that. You definitely need a variation of a Bucky here. Someone in that stratosphere.
That's what I'm saying. And then I would go with a very consistent player after that.
See, that's where I would like plug in Montgomery.
Okay.
Because like he gets red zone usage, he gets touchdowns.
Gibbs is taking red zone usage, by the way, if you didn't know that, Gov. Like Gibbs.
I have not seen him taking red zone usage. I have seen him getting his normal red zone usage. Like Montgomery's not losing red zone usage to Gibbs.
But Gibbs is also getting a lot of it. Like a lot more this year.
Not as much as you would think, honestly. Not from what I'm seeing. Like Monty is still the main dude they use.
I tried to tell Donnie that Gibbs has always gotten goal line work.
Yeah, like Gibbs is not getting anything more than what he's normally has.
He's always.
If anything, it's the fact that this year Detroit has not been as good in the red zone. And they've been scoring these like JMO 60-yard touchdowns.
That is true.
So I just wanted to bring this up a little bit. Like I said, it's too much to really. It's so random, and I don't want to get too into it because we all want to have personal lineups that are our own things.
Keep talking, says I'm just double checking this stuff.
Yeah, but this is a fun contest. I don't think I would ever play it outside of just, hey, they're throwing it at us.
Well, that's what I mean, because like they have money, they have other contests. This is not just a free one-off. They have a lobby for this now.
Oh yeah, it is like a 50-50 split. Well, hold on. You double. That's.
It's shockingly close, is what I've noticed.
Yeah, it is like a 50-50 split. You're right. That's actually kind of weird. Whether it's
when I saw
red
that,
zone or it's end zone, like yeah, they are basically like 13 to 14 carries inside the 20, 7 or 6 to 5 inside the 5. Like,
and what's weird, but more weird about it is Gibbs will get the first and second down, and then Monty will get that third down run. It's strange. I don't.
Well, yeah, you're going to give like, and that's sort of how they like. That makes sense. Like, Gibbs
but it's like they want Gibbs to get the touchdown first, and if that.
And then when he's inefficient at rushing it in, they give it to Monty, and he gets it in.
Yes.
Like you're right, they are splitting a little more than thought. I'd have to look at a red zone snap percentage to see.
But like I said, Logan, if you want to, I don't know if you're going to show what you're submitting on stuff, but different variations. I like that there's no price and it just says, "Hey, take your best shot."
I was just showing different ways to do it.
Yeah.
You can take two obvious guys and then one scroll down. And the scroll down is still a guy. It's just most people.
That's the thing. There's a lot of guys here, if you're doing this, that say they only have like 1 or 2 touchdowns on the season that are going to have touchdown upside for this.
Now, I will say I'm not playing a receiver in this. If a receiver scores 3 touchdowns and I lose, whatever, fine. I refuse to play a receiver in this.
So you're playing it as it has to be a running back, and you're playing that player to have at least.
I'd rather lose to Zay Flowers having 3 touchdowns than lose to Derrick Henry having 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Agreed with that. I do think there's receivers to grab. Like I think
again, you could get a CD.
Marvin Harrison has upside that people aren't going to want to grab. St. Brown has upside people aren't going to grab. To be fair, Diggs looks really good to me if I was going to attack that New England defense, because I do believe he's the touchdown guy over Tank. And we've already seen him have a multi-touchdown game. So like if I was going to pick a receiver, it would be someone like a Diggs who I trust in the red zone. But I think there's plenty of other like end zone, red zone guys.
And that's just how I'm playing. I'm not saying receivers are a bad idea. It's just I'd feel worse about losing to a receiver or losing to running backs than losing to a receiver.
If I was to take a wide receiver, though, it'd have to be
to be honest, it would probably be someone like Deontay. Guy who's got 10 targets in the red zone, only 1 touchdown. Like, that's a guy, a receiver I'd take upside on getting.
I could definitely see doing that.
A possession dude with red zone stuff, like a Deontay,
watch it be
Sutton.
Watch it be a guy
Sutton's
like Kohler.
Really weird.
Hunter Henry comes out and has 2 touchdowns for some reason. Something like that will happen, I'm sure.
All right. With that being said, though, I want to get us out of here on time.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Again, like and subscribe on your way out, please. Tippy
Comment down
ball.
below with any of your thoughts. We will get back to them if we ever see them.
I'm telling you, this man dropped his whole player pool, so he's definitely feeling the love from us. He definitely appreciates us, so we appreciate him as well. Take care, guys. We'll see you next week.
Yep. Have a good night, everyone.
Peace out, everybody.
Afternoon.